Hi guys, welcome to today's session. So we're going to be doing some more digital work today. And it's just going to be black and white sketching. We're going to be looking at doing tree gestures. So a way to study trees, kind of doing quick little studies. You could do these either with a tablet, an iPad like I'm using Procreate on an iPad, or you could also do the same approach using pencil and paper. I'm just going to be using a tool in Procreate that's similar to pencil and paper. So as with any gesture, we want to begin with a pretty simple general feeling for what we're looking at. So just using very few lines. I've got this sort of swaying feel to this tree. It's got this little trunk that we see there. We see a little bit of its shadow it's casting down on the ground. And you can see even just that, so we've got this swing to the right. It starts to capture the general sense of the tree. We've also got light travelling from the top left corner, so that causes there to generally be darker masses on the left-hand side, and we can get that in pretty quickly, like shade that in at this point. So if I zoom right out, you see that just sort of captures the overall sense of lighting and overall sense of shape of this tree. Obviously it's very simplified, so what we want to do is go in and break that down a little bit, basically, to start to give a more specific shape to it. So we might start with starting to break in a little bit. Just going to swap to a slightly smaller. I'm using peppermint, by the way, the brush type, so kind of juts out a little bit more there. Be a bit more of a cut in. And I'm also going to start getting some more smaller shadow shapes. And I'm also going to pass a tone over the whole tree at this stage, because green, if I'm drawing it, is definitely a darker value than most other parts of the landscape. I'm going to swap to a Procreate pencil. What we're going to do now is be a lot more specific with shapes of the tree. So the trunk we know is going to go proper dark, so shade that in. We know that the grass, the ground below, is also going to be dark. And then I'm going to use this smaller brush just to disrupt the edge of the tree even further. So you can see I'm just making the edge more irregular. Around the shadows, within the shadows. I'm also going to kind of start cutting out what we call sky holes, so little kind of gaps. So I'm going to use a razor here with more of a painting brush size. So use that just to kind of erase out some gaps in the tree as well. And start varying a little bit more the shading, add a few more patches up here. I'm just about coming to the end of this one. I'm going to try to get 3 done in this session, so we don't want to dwell too much on individual trees. I just want to show you the kind of general process of building it from a very simple gestural start to something that starts to capture the feeling of a particular tree and its forms. Just going a little bit darker in the sort of underside of the foliage because that's receiving the least light. Maybe take my eraser and just kind of neaten a little bit. So yeah, that's it for this this tree. Not for the lesson, I'm going to do a little bit more. So we're going to make this tree just a little bit smaller, push him off to the side. And then we're going to swap to a new tree, working with a different sort of shape. And we'll get started with it straight away. So again, this time we've got a little bit of a bigger trunk. And it's more of a kind of weeping willowish type tree. So a bit more irregularity to the overall sense of the shape. So this time the light's kind of coming from the top right. So pretty much all this bottom left-hand side is in shadow. And it's also a little bit smudgier, this one. So I'm using my peppermint, which is sort of the smudgier brush, for a little bit longer and start to try to get this sense of droopiness. my Procreate pencil. Search out the central branches in this soft, darker section. Get them nice and dark. So we see a little bit more of the actual kind of branch work in this one. It's not quite so hidden by the foliage like the first tree. We don't see all of it all the time, so it kind of peeks through at certain points. So kind of detailed the edge, and then I'm shading back into the shiny, brighter bits of foliage a little bit, just to try to develop their form. Also, I'll use the eraser to kind of cut back into the background behind where the tree or the foliage, so you see the background through the foliage. Yes, that's feeling pretty good for that particular tree. Maybe just try to go in and just erase a little bit more the brighter parts of the foliage. Just get them to pop a little bit more now that I've got more of the shadow developed in. Yeah, that's looking all right, I think. So we're going to shrink that one down too. Oh, they're on the same layer. Let me just select just this one, shrink it down, pop it to the right, and we'll do our final tree, which is this one. And let's just move it across a little bit so we've got space. I'll do this on a separate layer this time. So back to our peppermint. This time I'm going to go for, so I've got a sort of straight branch that immediately kind of angles off. They form the sort of two main shapes in the centre of the tree. The ground sort of slightly hidden but roughly runs across there. Then I've got another, well, sort of two branches. So we get these main limbs. So I'm just going to shade just a light tone across all the foliage and light, just to distinguish it from the background like we did in the last couple. And get my eraser again. I'm going to use that just to try to pop out the trunk value, the branch here as well. Just add a little bit of kind of half tones into some of the foliage. Yeah, on the whole, that's looking pretty good. So I'm just going to shrink that one down, pop that here, get rid of our reference. And that's it. That's all our 3 little tree studies. So you see they've all got pretty different characters. And that's what you're going for. So you could do loads of these. Like these probably took me about 8 to 10 minutes each. So that's why it's a good idea to use an iPad, because you can just, if you've got one, or a tablet or an iPad, you can just sort of move that around with you. But you could also do loads of these in a sketchbook as well, and ideally from life would be great, but otherwise just kind of search different types of trees that interest you, or tree references online, just on Google Images or Unsplash or something. And yeah, just have a crack at it. So that's it for this week. We'll be doing some more landscape stuff next week. As always, if you've got any questions about this process, just comment below the video and I'll get back to you next week. And you can also follow us on YouTube, so you can see videos from myself and other tutors, videos from students too. And if you click the link in the description, you can also visit our website to see the sorts of paid qualifications we offer. So yeah, that's it for this week, and I will see you guys soon.